Welcome to our Shiur on HaRambam's commentary on Pirke Avoth. Our goal in this series of short Shiurim on HaRambam's commentary on Pirke Avoth is to afford our virtual students a learning experience that is relevant, inspiring, and at the same time convenient, and hopefully opens a window into the worldview of our great teacher, the Nesher HaGadol, HaRambam. Pirke Avoth is one of the most beloved Jewish texts. There are countless commentaries on Pirke Avoth and many more opportunities to impute into the text the outlook of the teacher. That is why I will make every effort to present HaRambam's teachings as found in his commentary to Pirke Avoth. Rambam's commentary includes definition of terms, in other words, how HaRambam understood the basic meaning of the Mishnah. It includes insights and points that HaRambam felt needed emphasis and clarity, as well as certain ideas and values that HaRambam introduces and expands upon as natural extension to the text in front of him. There is no doubt that HaRambam uses in many instances Pirke Avoth as a springboard to articulate ideas that he felt are worthy of serious consideration. So let us begin. Pirke Avoth is the title given to a short tractate of Mishna, which consists of 5 chapters of sayings and moral teachings of the Chachamim. One can argue that these teachings, core values, principles, and convictions shaped the legacy of the early Tannaitic schools. HaRambam notes the placement of Pirke Avoth at the end of Nezikin, the section of the Mishnah that deals with the Jewish legal system, the establishment of courts, laws of damages, examination of witnesses and evidence, and the laws that relate to the various forms of restitution. HaRambam explains that Pirke Avoth was placed as a conclusion to the laws of judges and justice because Jewish courts of law must permeate a sense of ethics and morality. Judges must be humble and compassionate while exacting justice. There is a 3-way dispute in the Gemara in Masechet Baba Kama 30a, which tries to answer the timeless question: how does one learn piety? How does one become a chassid? The first opinion states that one who wants to learn piety should follow meticulously the laws of Nezikin, damages. The other opinion states, let him follow the teachings found in Pirke Avoth. A third opinion states, let him be meticulous with brachot, the recitation of blessings. The reality is that true piety, true chassidut, is a function of these 3 areas. Being meticulous with regards to other people's property, having a disciplined commitment to ethics and good values, and finally a profound sense of God's presence in our lives. Let's read the first Mishnah. The text I like to use is the Kapach edition of HaRambam's commentary on Pirke Avoth. Rabbi Kapach, of blessed memory, was one of the great students of Maimonides. He died 10 years ago in the year 2000. I had the privilege of meeting him and studying with him on numerous occasions. Rabbi Kapach had the Yemenite manuscript, some of the earliest manuscripts of HaRambam's texts. Anyone who visits the Maimonides Heritage Center Museum in Tiberia will be privileged to see one of those texts which I was able to procure from the Kapach family. Let's begin with the first Mishnah of Pirke Avoth. The Mishnah states as follows: Moshe kibel Torah mi Sinai umsara li Hoshua. Moshe Rabbeinu received the Torah from Sinai and transmitted it on to Yehoshua, to Joshua. V'Yehoshua li Zkenim. Yehoshua transmitted the Torah to the elders, uzkenim linviim, the elders to the prophets, unviim misarua le'anshei knesset hagedolah, and the prophets transmitted the Torah to the members of the great assembly, the Anshei Knesset HaGedolah. Pirke Avot begins with a short history of the transmission of the teachings of Torah from Moshe Rabbeinu to the Anshei Knesset HaGedolah, members of the great assembly, the body of leaders that governed and ruled the Jewish people after the Babylonian exile in 586 BCE until their return to Israel under the auspices of the Persian Empire. In fact, the first two chapters of Pirkei Avot are structured in chronological order of the various authors of the teachings, beginning with Shimon HaTzadik in Mishna Bet, running through to Shimon HaTzadik, of the last of the members of the Anshei Knesset HaGedolah, through the leading Tanaim, rabbis who lived post the destruction of the second Beit HaMikdash. This sequence of uninterrupted transmission from Moshe Rabbeinu through the generations is such a fundamental feature of our legal system that many commentaries have asked, why is this found here at the beginning of Pirkei Avot and not at the beginning of Masechet Brachot, for example, the first tractate of Mishnah? Maimonides, in his commentary, writes as follows: Kvar bi'arnu behakdamat devareinu bechibur ze seder hakabbalah ve'each hayita. Maimonides on this Mishnah says, I've already explained at the introduction of this work hakabbalah ve'each hayita, the transmission and how it happened. Ve'ein hakavana kan ella lefaresh divrei hamusar halalu bilvad. My purpose here in Pirkei Avot is to explain the moral and ethical teachings of the rabbi's sayings here. HaRambam here refers his readers to his own detailed chronicle of the history of the transmission of the oral law right in the introduction to Mishneh Torah, his code of Jewish law. There, Maimonides arduously lists every Beit Din, court of law, from the time of Moshe Rabbeinu until Ravina and Rav Ashi. He concludes the list of some 60 courts of law with Nimtza Ravina veRav Ashi v'chavreihem sof gdolei chachmei Yisrael hamatikim Torah sheba'al peh. We find that it was Ravina and Rav Ashi and their friends, in other words, their Beit Din, the last of the great scholars of Israel and the scribes of the Torah sheba'al peh, V'shegazru gzeirot, ve'itkinu takanot, ve'inhigu minhagot. They made decrees and made takanot, and they established certain customs. Upashta gzeiratam ve'takanatam u'minhagutam bechol Israel, bechol mekomot moshvotehem. And it was spread out, their decrees and their traditions throughout Israel. Ravina and Rav Ashi were the final editors of the Talmud. It is clear that for HaRambam, this unbroken transmission is the underpinning of the authority of the oral tradition as a whole. So why begin Pirkei Avot with this concept? Because the very concept is a principle that bears value. The very idea of a rabbinic linkage to the Beit Din of Moshe Rabbeinu is indispensable in our study of Torah. Having a profound appreciation for the history and authority of our rabbinic tradition is a part of the ethics that Pirkei Avot transmits. We will finish this Mishnah in our next Shiur. Thank you.